One evening, I chose to be curious instead of critical with my boys, and I finally asked, "Why is video gaming so important to you?" You see, I had just called them down to eat. "It's time for dinner," with no response. Can anyone relate to that scenario? I said, "It's time for dinner." Still silence. True confession. In anger, I marched into their room. I took my big toe and I kicked the power button on the Xbox. You would have thought it was the end of the world. The boys were so mad and upset at me, and the screen went blank. They were only in elementary school at the time, and I brought them down to dinner, and the typical mom response would have been, "You're wasting away your life on video games, or your brain is going to rot." I am so glad I chose to be curious instead, and they were surprised. "Mom, you really want to know?" "Yes." "Mom, everybody we know plays video games." They weren't exaggerating. According to Entertainment Software Association, 2.5 billion people on this planet are gamers. Gamer simply refers to somebody that plays video games. That's 1/3 of the entire human race. 2 gamers per every US household. The gaming industry is about ready to reach the $200 billion mark. That's twice as big as Hollywood. This is serious business, and there's money to be made. The boys helped me discover an entire world I knew nothing about, let alone how to parent, because all I grew up with was this. Baka 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 baka. I guess you can say I have a Pac-Man mom perspective on video games. But gaming today is a connected, multiplayer, interactive entertainment experience. Gaming is full of competition, problem solving, puzzles, logic. Good stuff, right? Gaming is also full of conversations, culture, history, musical scores, art, dialogue, moral choices, real wartime endeavors. Oh, stuff you actually want them to learn. And gaming has philosophy, strategy, and amazing skill. Okay, in layman's terms, some of you might need this. Imagine reading a really good book, or watching a great movie, or a great sporting event. And this time, you get to manipulate it, compete in it, and interact with it. That's modern video gaming. In my interview with one of the co-producers in the Call of Duty series, Candy Harris states that gaming also includes streaming, tournaments, and even a connection with the developers and pros like her. The boys continued to teach me more things. "Mom, when you shut off the game, we get a suspension. And Mom, we have a responsibility. And you keep asking us to pause the game. Mom, you can't pause an online game. Seriously, Mom, you can't pause a game." And then they said this: "You actually hurt us when you call us loners and losers. Mom, we're live on a headset in a multiplayer game with our friends, our school friends, and we're actually meeting new real friends." That's the day I had an earth-shattering epiphany. I'm more alone in the kitchen cooking dinner than my boys are gaming upstairs. So I started embracing my kids as gamers. And this is what I yell out, still to this day. It's almost time for dinner. Where are you at in your game? I find out, I make the adjustment, and then we have that peaceful, connected family dinner that I wanted in the first place. One time, my oldest son, Connor, came to me and said, Mom, seriously, what do I need to do to get you to leave me alone after 3 p.m. today? Guess what? I was actually glad he was communicating with me because then I realized I could use it to my advantage. So I made a list. Get your homework done. Engage with grandma at lunchtime, eye contact and all. Get your homework done. And I even added pulling weeds to the list. This kid got everything done. Check. He said, Mom, this is so cool. All I really wanted to do this afternoon was rank up. You see, in gaming, there are levels and leagues and rewards to be earned. So I figured if it's important to him, it needed to be important to me too. And this is exactly what the esports athletic director from Boise State University, Dr. Chris Haskell, says about his esport scholar athletes. He's looking for gamers that have goals and are willing to improve in their game. Many colleges now give scholarships for esports. Esports stands for electronic sports, okay, video games. And that will help those students because both the military and many careers now use video game type simulation in their jobs. I started treating gaming like a true sport with practices and everything. I would even let my kids game on school nights if they did their responsibilities first, okay? Hey boys, tonight, 6:30 to 9, I won't bother you at all. And they were shocked. Hey, could you go out to your kids' soccer practice or their baseball game and start yelling at the coach? Coach, stop everything. My kid needs to take out the trash now. Of course not. So I chose to let my kids game uninterrupted if they did their responsibilities first. Oh, you do not have to have a controller in your hand to care, okay? The one and only time I ever tried to play a modern video game, it was a disaster. Okay, I was running around the battlefield just trying to figure out where I was. And I was shouting out to my kids, hey, where am I? Where are you? And then my youngest son, Rylan, says, well, what do you see, Mom? Blue, blue. All I see is blue. Mom, that's the sky. Oh, I had to move my right thumb down on the controller stick just to get the right perspective to even see and be in the game. That's the day I found out that playing modern video games is extremely difficult with the hand-eye coordination stuff. I mean, this is way beyond Pac-Man. We are now entering a new era and a new arena. The top 3 most viewed sporting events as of today are the World Cup of Soccer, the Super Bowl, and the League of Legends tournament, a video game competition where everybody in this video game plays a different role. An ESPN article just read that esports will be considered for the Olympics this year. When I tell that to young people, guess what they say to me? Oh, I'll watch the Olympics then. Gaming brings the entire world together with its common language and its team dynamics. Young people are watching other people play video games. And I've heard many of you criticize, just like I used to. You ready? Oh my goodness. They even watch other people play video games. I mean, who does that? Well, guess what? My husband watches other people play games. You see, he's a huge 49ers fan. And this past season, one of the games went into overtime and it lasted for 4.5 hours. Now, did I go lecture my husband and say, you're rotting your brain away and you're wasting your life? Of course not. I choose to let my husband enjoy his professional sports, and guess what? He's never even played football. And he was alone the whole time he was watching the game. So when a video game kid or adult is watching another person play video games, they're usually watching the pros. And they're watching the pros to get tips and tricks for the games they actually play with others. I've had a chance now to interview some professional gamers. One of them wants to remain completely anonymous so that his stories really sink in for you. He said one time he was with his extended family and they were all going around sharing about each other's lives and trying to catch up with one another. When it got to him, he started talking about video games and his love of playing. One of his aunts so rudely announced to everyone, "Why don't you tell us something that people are actually interested in?" He said that everybody got a good laugh on his behalf. He said he's hardly talked to that extended family since then. And that was over a decade ago. I wonder what would have happened if that aunt had chosen to be curious instead of critical. So this talk actually isn't just for you parents, okay? This talk is for you, grandma, grandpa, aunts and uncles, godparents, good friends, school administrators, and relatives. Be curious. Here's a simple solution how. Ask 3 questions. What games do you play? Why do you enjoy playing those games? And can I watch you game sometime? Just like you would go to a court or a field. Oh, and this gamer also told me that one of the biggest hurts in his life is when his dad stopped gaming with him altogether. He said that would be like a little kid going up to their dad, "Hey, can we play catch? I'm never throwing the ball around with you, kid. Go play catch with yourself the rest of your life." 2 generations are gaming, millennials and Gen Z. We might be in the same boat. If we don't embrace gaming, we might lose connection with the people on the planet that we love the most. Okay, by now, I know what you are all thinking. Well, she didn't talk about any of the bad stuff about gaming. You know what? You're right. You caught me. It's true. There are concerns with any online communication, and that's why it's even more important to be involved in a gamer kid's life. In my own home, throughout all the years, we've had an open dialogue about their online behavior and the balance of life. These are my boys. Everybody, aww. Neither one of them are pro gamers, but now, years later, I can hear my youngest son, Rylan, gaming with his brother in college over 300 miles away. This melts my heart. Gaming has kept their connection close. It's funny because what we don't realize is sometimes I listen to them talk about their day, they're laughing. It's almost like my oldest son never left for college, except that his room actually stays clean. When I called my oldest son, and I was so excited about this, yay, I got selected to speak at TEDxIdahoFalls. This is what he said back to me, and I quote verbatim. Hey, Mom, gaming my whole life really paid off for you. TED stands for Technology, Entertainment, and Design. Gaming incorporates all of that. I'm so glad that I discovered and embraced gaming. It's kept my connection with my boys close as well. In fact, I want to bring out my younger son now. Okay, this is Ryland, everybody. Let's give him a hand clap. See, he's not always gaming. Let me show you guys something. Embracing gaming is like embracing your own kid, literally.